Even in an age where Xbox games show up on PlayStation systems and God of War hits PC, Nintendo still keeps their titles under lock and key. That being said, the Legend of Zelda series has influenced countless other developers from the indie scene to AAA. These are the best PC games like The Legend of Zelda. Harvestella is a life sim RPG for players of any age. Players will experience an atmospheric fantasy realm where they must live a life of action and relaxation in the wake of a disaster known as Quietus. On their adventures, players will get to know a charming and dangerous world, meet allies, and build a sustainable life in the face of danger. This world with a central town and focused on nature is very reminiscent of many of the Legend of Zelda titles. Dark Souls for a post-Breath of the Wild world, Elden Ring is From Software's take on an open-air, go-in-whatever-order-you-want fantasy open-world RPG. Not only is Elden Ring a game that exceeded the expectations of fans and critics, it is truly massive, full of crypts, interesting weapons and key items, odd characters to align yourself with, and sprawling dungeons. Just be prepared for a challenge. An adventure achievable in 2 to 3 hours, Turnip Boy commits tax evasion while strike a chord with fans of the classic Zelda title A Link to the Past. Full of memorable characters and a great sense of humor, this title is thoroughly enjoyable. It will rarely impress you, but for a short reminder of the formula you likely fell in love with in A Link to the Past, it's worth your time. Another indie title built off the foundations of why 2D Zelda worked so well for generations, Tunic is a beautiful indie game where traversing the world is a puzzle in itself, with nostalgic art and systems that will remind you of late nights drawing maps to navigate your favorite 2D Zelda dungeon, and combat that will test your ability. Tunic is a truly grand adventure. Ubisoft's take on Breath of the Wild, Immortals Phoenix Rising sees the developers of Assassin's Creed Odyssey take a more cartoonish and humorous approach to the Greek pantheon. If the hands-off direction of Breath of the Wild is overwhelming to you, the more guided Ubisoft-style open-world systems are present here. Full of puzzles and secrets to uncover, Immortals Phoenix Rising will give you a lot to explore. Maybe you prefer the more quaint approach to 2D Zelda perfected in Link's Awakening. If so, Anodyne should be on your radar. Featuring a surreal dream world with action puzzle-based gameplay similar to the Game Boy Classic, this title wears its inspirations on its sleeve, but it's able to be a great game in its own right. Drawing even more inspiration from classic Zelda titles than Elden Ring, Dark Souls is the game to play if you always wondered what a true dark fantasy Zelda title could look like. Featuring environmental and lore-based storytelling like in Breath of the Wild, Dark Souls structurally is very similar to Ocarina of Time, divided into 2 main sections. Beyond its bosses waiting at the ends of dungeons and key items to find, Dark Souls is able to manifest a vibe that is reminiscent of some of Nintendo's classic titles. A Kickstarter title that kickstarted Heart Machine to being an indie developer with a large following of fans, Hyper Light Drifter is perhaps as close as you can get to finding a new 2D Zelda title in the indie scene today. Emulating experiences like A Link to the Past and A Link Between Worlds, this critical hit is a great way to get your classic Zelda fix. Inspired by the older style of Zelda games like Twilight Princess or The Wind Waker, Darksiders 2 is a more heavy metal style Zelda game. Leaning more into combat, the hack-and-slash gameplay of death will only be a part of your journey, as there is plenty to explore, on horseback or on foot, and a lot of puzzles to solve if you're looking to progress. A game so beautiful that originally dropped on the PS2, Okami released in close proximity to The Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess. Both featuring a wolf as a core component of gameplay, many fans of both Zelda and Okami believe that this title is a better experience for those looking for a classic Zelda experience than Link's Wolf Adventure. And those are the best PC games like The Legend of Zelda. These are just a few titles that took inspiration from Nintendo's iconic series, so be sure to let us know your picks. Until next time, stay tuned to Game Rant.